never lied where I came from. Texas had its place for me to find a home deep in my soul. I must know the world as a whole.
Hey, Dave.
Oh, I was thinking of Tom Meany, sorry.
This is a segment we call In the Makeup Room.
Yeah.
And I get to ask you those really tough questions.
Nice.
I know. And for you, I am just super curious about candy. Do you have a favorite candy?
Oh, there's so many, but I like to always tell folks that black licorice. I am the only one who likes it, so I get a big bag of it and nobody wants any, so you can't have my black licorice.
So funny. All right, well, we are going to I Don't Want Your Black Licorice, and we're going to go out there on set, and we'll see you in a minute.
Hi, I'm Carole Coburn, and this is the show, Creative's Cornerstone. Today, we are going to talk about all of the layers and the things that make Dave. Dave Prewitt, welcome to Creative's Cornerstone. Welcome back.
Thank you, Carole. It's great to be here. I'm glad to be around to do it.
Oh my gosh. For those of you that may not know, this is why Studio One is iconic. This man here, Dave Prewitt and Nathan Oliveras did a show in this studio for decades.
Yes.
You were decades at least.
And Nathan too.
Nathan too.
Yeah.
And I am just in awe of the energy in this space, and I attribute it all to you.
Well, I had a lot of forefathers, Dane Langston being number one, Kevin Roberts with Fillmore Video, Hank Sinatra. So many people laid the groundwork for me to do what I did.
Wow. So let's talk about your evolution, because it's been years. How did you begin this journey? Yes, thank you.
Sure. I would say in the mid-'80s, I had begun watching cable TV here, saw all these great shows by some of those people I just mentioned, and I had a camera since I was probably 14, 15 years old. We went over to A&B TV on Burnett Road and got one of the big shoulder VHS cameras. My grandfather got it for me. So I'd take my friends around the house and whatever. And by the time I got 17, 18, started venturing into Austin, I would take it with me to a venue. You know, I went to the Black Cat and shot Chris Duarte. I went to Pearl's Oyster Bar and shot Bill Carter and the Blame. I had some friends in a southern rock band called Mud Pie, and I would just constantly, I still have videos from the 80s from them. So usually I would invite the people over to have some beers, sit on the couch, make copies of their videos for them. And I was always in the back of my mind going, well, how do I get on that channel? And so I went down. At the time, the public access facilities were in South Austin, but I didn't use that one. My buddy Robert Martin used that one. But the Dougherty Arts Center, it was closer to me. So I went to the Dougherty Arts Center where it used to live, and I took a real easy camera and edit course. And it was really overwhelming. And this was probably 86.
So much, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know. I'm just going to go back to shooting bands with my camera and inviting them over. And so, you know, I did, and I'd gone to the back room at that point, about 86, 87. I started going to the back room, get up on a chair, shoot from the back, zoom in, zoom out, don't have to worry about bumping into people and stuff like that, which evolved into me running one of those little tiny headphone-like cables from the soundboard into my camera, and getting the soundboard audio. Right. And I realized listening back one time when I pulled it out, if I leave it in halfway, I get the camera audio and the soundboard audio. And I was like, that sounds great. But yet it led me back to a call to the Dougherty Arts Center. I was like, I just took these classes almost 3 years ago. What am I doing? Like, how do I move forward? And they're like, oh, it's good that you called. We purge our database every 3 years, so you need to go down here and take an advanced edit course, which I did with Sue Cole. And Sue Cole is the reason I got on Access and continued to do what I do. And she made it make sense for me. I made 30-minute programs, 15 minutes of one band, 15 minutes of another. I ran them in June of '89 to kind of find out what I'm going to do with this thing, you know?
Right.
Yeah. And then they built this studio, and I was the first live show out of this room.
Wow. Okay.
And
Yeah.
it was either late '89 or early '90. I forgot exactly the date. But yeah, we started doing shows out of here. And then they had some more construction to finish, and we went down the hall in one of the little cable cast rooms. And I just invited friends and band members from the back room over after the gig to sit in there and just talk on the phone to people. And then when we wanted to get away, we put in a tape and played some of those videos, you know. We were naming hamsters by phone calls. We didn't know what we were doing. I didn't have like this is what I want to be when I grow up. I just did it.
Right.
But, you know, like one day, a band called Porcelain Grind they were like, can we play in the studio? And I'm like, well, I guess you can. I don't know. And so they came in, we threw up a couple mics in the room, sounded horrible. The singer, we used to have the TV where they could see it, you know, when they performed. That was the only time we did that, because the singer through the whole set was sizing up his package in the monitor when the camera was on him.
Wow, yeah.
So from that point on, we turned the monitor away from the band.
Funny.
And yeah, we just took the layers, peeled them away to find out what sounds better, what looks better. Do we need more camera people? Do we need more gear? And just stack. By the mid-90s, we felt like we were cool. We had a plan. People at the Chronicle loved me.
Found your
Margaret
jam.
Mosier,
Yeah.
Andy Langer, all of these people. Ken Leak's an early supporter. They made us feel special. And we were standing side by side by the likes of heroes in the Texas music community. And I was like, wow! And, you know, we ended up doing Raw Time after that, which got us national acclaim. Ended up being quoted by Trent Reznor in in Rolling Stone. We won 2 Billboard magazine awards.
Okay, so hold on just a minute,
Yeah.
because I want to continue this role, because this is fascinating.
Yeah.
How did that feel? How did that feel? Rolling Stones. I mean, I want you to remember when that was happening. How did you feel?
Whether it's true or not, it made me feel like you could do this without commercial representation. You could do this as a fan.
That's solid.
It was DIY all the way. And I was like, I don't need a sponsor. We had a couple, like early on, Budweiser wanted to do some stuff with us. And I was like, I know they want to be boss. Like, I can't call the shots if I have a sponsor. I am not selling a thing. I am not for hire. And we don't have a sponsor. And
Good on you.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
true art.
Seriously. Okay, so now Rolling Stone, and then continue your progress here, your journey.
Sure. Kendrick Stanley from Magic Video had popped in after the first Billboard Magazine Award that I was nominated for.
The first.
Yeah. And he brings in the trophy live on the air, and I'm like, what? I won this? And so best regional metal rock TV show. And then I won it again the next year. I was like, wow. But I'll tell you, it's a blessing and a curse, because that, you know, led to all the commercial entities. Like I would turn in a playlist for Raw Time every week, and they would call me back and go, hey, did you play this video? Because we saw record sales in Austin peak on this one band we sent you. And they were like, it was marketing whether I was true to my art or DIY, you know?
Wow.
So it kind of started to feel like corporate.
You almost couldn't escape that. I mean, just your popularity was having some sway.
Yeah, but the good thing about that is they all sent me merch and tried to get me to play all their videos, and we put a table out right here that, mind you, we were on from midnight to 4 in the morning in this period, and we had strangers who were watching the show on TV drive to this studio at that time and come in to like hang out on camera and get freebies from the table. And that was a really good feeling. Yeah. But yeah, it's, you know, it kind of, to Raw Time specifically, kind of felt like a task. And so I kept it going because it was extremely popular.
Right.
It blew up on the internet about 5 or 6 years ago again, and it's insane. Like, one of my videos has over 1 million views for raw time, and
Wow,
I don't
Dave.
understand, but it's gratifying, and I'm glad, and I get interviewed about it a lot, and that's cool.
Can
but my
we
passion,
take that moment before we hit your passion?
Yeah.
Where are you on YouTube?
My YouTube is youtube.com/rawtime, RAWTIME.
Just while we are there, I just wanted to land for a minute so that we can get that up there for the viewers. Now continue.
Yeah, so my passion was always helping local bands. My thing was,
Absolutely.
like, of course, like, I actually went to school with Stevie Ray Vaughan's sister-in-law. I
Nice.
could have done whatever with Stevie or Jimmy
Right.
or all these people, but I really wanted to work with the people at ground level that could not get covered either, like, they were never going to be covered by anyone you'd ever see on TV.
You're indie.
Yeah. So I would reach out to those bands, and always do, and still do to this day. And that's where my passion was. I started doing crazy things because there was a while where this studio had plenty of airtime. And it was like, I'm going to do a show called The Live Show. I don't know what it's about, but we're going to come in here and we're going to be on and talk and do videos. I ended up doing a show called Sail Hayton, which was karaoke. I mean, not just me and my crew guys, which
my
were
God.
obnoxious, but you could call in on the phone and pick a song and sing over your phone to karaoke on TV.
Oh my God.
And it got oddly popular.
That's
And
hilarious. Boy, you are the weird in Keep Austin
I
Weird.
feel like it, right?
Oh my God.
So yeah, we had the Roller Girls come on a regular basis for a while. They were shooting a series. I want to say it was for USA, which I don't even think is a TV network anymore, but the Roller Girls, a bunch of friends of mine, they would always come down here and do it, and then the network came in and shot them in here one night, and that was on the series. So national TV, for my silly karaoke show. I just seemed to luck into doing lots of things that I was passionate about that got a lot of attention, and I feel very lucky for that.
You followed your passion and you showed up to the opportunities. I mean, that's when they presented themselves, all right?
Absolutely.
My gosh, that is phenomenal. I'm over here trying to remember to close my mouth. So I apologize.
I've had a great life with that, and
It's beautiful. Now, going through this journey as you're describing it, was there time for anything else, or is this what you did for a living? Or, I mean, how did you support that journey?
Early on, it was kind of like what I did for fun, and just didn't put much money into it. Blank VHS tapes, so it was real easy. But as life moved through, I had my 2 boys, which are amazing. They're 28 and 29 now.
Wow.
But raising them, I had a career in insurance, and that was where paying the bills came from.
So you were an insurance man by day and this rock star by night.
Absolutely, 100%.
Love it. See, you just don't know, folks. You just don't know. How wild. Wow. And so then how long did you do that?
15 years in insurance, and then I ended up doing what I like to call manual labor. I worked for a company that's corporate that has a W and an M in their name, and overnight shifts, unloading trucks, stocking shelves.
Yeah.
It was labor.
Whatever you could do to pay the bills
Had to
and,
pay the
and
bills.
follow your passion.
Absolutely, because it was important. I needed, again, no control over what my goals were, and I was lucky enough to get handfuls of people to work with me through the years and to this day that support my vision and dreams, so it makes it unbelievable.
At what point in your journey early on did people start coming to you versus you scoping and looking for them? Was there ever a point where they started coming to you looking for the airtime and looking for the engagement?
Probably started about 93.
Wow. So
92,
pretty early
93.
on.
Soon as that little click after naming hamsters and being goofy turned into my dream of covering local music,
Right.
it was like everybody wanted to come. Everybody wanted to get on. And to this day, I'm still blessed to have tons of folks who call me and want to be a part of it. I think in 91, we did this crazy thing out at some park in North Austin where I had Dancer, Herlant, and I want to say Savayas come to this picnic table out in the park, and I had like my VHS camera and like a little plug-in mic, and boy, it was great. Like, I talked about lots of stuff, but it was outdoors, and at the end of the day, the interview portion sounded like this. Wind. So, live and learn, right? Nathan was just on fire, as were the other fellows, but
Right.
Nathan specifically was on fire about the opportunity presented to do real conversation on TV about what made us all happy, music. And he was always like, my band will come on and we'll do whatever you need, you know, and had him on and we really clicked. It was just an interview, you know, and we really clicked, and I came to start seeing his band. I think the first time I videotaped him, band at the back room, was the night Stevie Ray Vaughan passed away. I remember that about that event.
Wow.
Yeah, and on the camera you hear him coming up to me and introducing himself and stuff. It's pretty unique.
Yeah.
And so at that point I was like, I don't like being the on TV guy. I do it because I have to. Would you come in and talk to these bands while I do like the technical stuff? That's where my heart is. And he's like, absolutely. And it was like, he did really good. And then something would come out of his mouth that I was like red-faced. I was like, what did you just say? What did you just say?
Sorry. Yeah, I can see that.
You know, right? And so it was this almost love-hate thing turning into brothers, you know, because that's what happens with your family
beautiful
anyway,
thing,
right?
yeah.
And, you know, there was a lot of times in there where we butted heads. It's usually me. He was always amicable, but I was usually mad about something he said or did. And
But you know what? He could egg you on. He
Oh,
could,
yeah.
Oh, he could push buttons.
he got me a cease and desist letter from Lone Wolf Music.
Oh my
He said some tasty
God.
comments about some artists on that
Wow.
group, and I was like, yeah, dude, you're off. And so there was like half a dozen times I fired him,
Right.
but I always asked him back.
Right.
Because it was good for us. We had a thing, and it was visible, and without him, I would not have had the success with Capzeyez that I did. So that was super special. He did so much fun stuff. I remember, you know, taking him to interview some of his favorite bands, because that's the way I could do him a favor. Took him to interview Queensryche. Got
Oh,
him
nice.
backstage
Oh,
at the
wow.
Metallica show to interview
I used
Corrosion
to
of
see
Conformity.
him at a lot of shows. He was there. We were both at the show, and he was waiting to go back and do some interviews.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
he drove backstage at Van Halen and picked members of Skid Row up to bring to the studio. He's trying to get them high all night, but they were like,
Oh, my
"No, that's the
God.
singer. We're good."
Oh
So,
my God.
Yeah, but I love Nathan.
Good times.
And sad to have him gone, but we were lucky to have him in our lives when we did.
Absolutely. And I don't want this to turn maudlin or
Yeah.
sad,
Yeah.
because his life, if anything, was a life to be celebrated. But it just is part of your story. And in this space, the little bit, I mean, obviously, man, I'm hearing all kinds of wonderful things from you right now. And it's just not even scratching the surface, the depth of what you do in this Austin music scene. And so you're carrying on here. Let's talk about the love of your life coming into your life. And, well, first, before we do that, there was a glitch in the algorithm for a while there, because I remember you left. You just left, and it's like, where did Dave go? Why did Dave leave? Where in the world is Dave?
Yep.
And I remember being just shocked about the fact that you just left. And I realized we weren't friends. You know, I wasn't in your inner sanctum to know why you would all of a sudden just leave all these things.
Yeah.
And then I was so grateful to hear you were back.
Yeah.
And not only did you come back, you came back at KZSM.
Yeah.
Where I was doing a show there.
Sure. I do want to touch briefly on, before we go there, which I'm happy to, support people while they're alive.
Yes.
You may not know when your best friend, your family member, even someone you're not friends with and don't care about at all is going to leave this world, and that's not good. Don't wait to talk about what a legend they were. Celebrate them in this life. You never know. A lot of Nathan's material is no longer available. I've got tons of it up on my YouTube. So if you're a fan of Nathan, find it, share it, enjoy it. He wants you to smile, not be sad when we hear his music.
Nathan
make sure to
was
say
such a giving person and such a supportive person. And it's true, you need to support these artists now.
Nothing but love.
Nothing but love.
So, yeah. But yes, so I was at a point after my kids were raised and I knew they were going to be okay on their own and they had their own lives and things were looking good there. I was at the end of a lease and I kind of felt empty about everything based on my personality, self-worth and things like that. I kind of felt like what I was doing, while people still were like, oh, it's cool, let me be on your show, not one of them knew when my show was on, who played last. Like, it was just like the cool thing to do. So I didn't feel the support that is there and was there. This is a me thing. And I just looked at it as if almost felt used. And so I had to unplug and got an opportunity, was told some things about replanting my roots elsewhere that were not true. And as soon as I got there, it was evident I had made a huge mistake and I put zero thought into the move. And I was like, how do I get out of here?
You were looking for a change. Now, most people, when they hit that spot, I'm speaking from experience, I rearrange the living room furniture.
Yeah,
when I'm looking for a change, because
I should have done that.
I take myself with me wherever I go. So
That's a great line.
Yeah.
So ended up being able to get back to Austin. I found a super cheap place in Martindale, and I was like, I can do this. It's me and my dog. And I planted my roots. COVID hit. And my roots grew. You know, I was me, my dog, and the river. And I didn't really do too much production because it wasn't in here.
Right.
It started to come back. Unfortunately, it was during COVID, so it was really limited what I could do.
Very much so, yes.
But we masked up. I turned my bedroom into a mini studio. I had a couple bands play, Jimmy George, The Butts. I did Tarantula Mountain, encouraged Tarantula Mountain to be a band again.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes. Oh, my gosh.
So that was really enlightening for me. While it set a fire for them, it also set a fire for me. Nathan did one of those.
See, you don't even realize your depth and your reach, and especially when you go to this place inside where you say it's a you thing and not a, a reality thing, really.
Yep.
I mean, it's all perception.
Yep.
You just don't realize the lives that you touch and who you inspire just by walking your path.
Yep.
Wow.
So I'd been in Martindale a while, and I kept hearing wind of this radio station, which I could never pick up unless I was about a block from it. And I was like, oh, but they're on the internet. This sounds great. I can play whatever I want. I can do a show because they said they'd give me one. I'm like, this sounds awesome. And I did it for a few months, and
Nothing but love.
I did not like the environment. And, mechanics, I can work with gear that's A or B or Z.
Given from your history, though, given from your history and your path, that was, what's the word? It wasn't even a drop in the bucket.
It was a pain in the ass? Is that what you're looking for?
But it was actually something, though, no, but it did propel you to do what you need to be doing?
I laid my ground into the ideas of a podcast, which is still back here.
Yeah.
Felt it out on
Hey,
the
we
radio.
have a good spot here in Studio 3 if you want to do.
That's funny. So it was good in that sense. It was good to get some of my friends' exposure at that day and time, and
It just
we
wasn't
didn't
right for
touch
you.
on it.
Yeah.
But before I did TV, Ray Segern and my buddy Corey, rest in peace, Corey Mitchell, were doing a radio show on the UT campus, and at the time it was on KTSB, which is now changed to KVRX.
Right.
And they liked to rock and roll occasionally and didn't want to go do the show, and they asked me if I wanted to do the radio show for them. And this was like 87, somewhere in there. And I was like, absolutely. So I actually kind of started in radio
Right.
before
Wow.
I went and cracked that egg open for TV. So I had a little experience on radio.
Right.
Mind you, it was vinyl, and we went to digital over there at the other place. And I don't know that I'm a radio guy on the mic. I would definitely embrace some production in radio,
Yeah.
but who knows what the future holds. We'll talk about that soon. But so
Well, you and I need to talk after the show. 'Cause
right. Awesome. So it did, after that, I got off the air in Martindale almost about exactly when my lovely bride that I met in this room in 2001.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about Renee and how you met.
Yeah. So met her with a songwriter circle that I had put together, and she was one of the performers back in 2001, and I was floored, this beautiful songbird coming out and like voice of an angel, very beautiful, but I'm super shy. Like I couldn't go, hey, you want to go have coffee or something, you know? So I just asked her back to play. So she came on with a friend of hers, Ginger McKenzie, and she played again. I think that was early 2002. So this was all 2001, 2002. And then we both went about our lives, and we both made horrible choices and learned from them. And one day, as
Those
I'm in
horrible
Martindale,
choices prepared you for what is.
yeah, we knew based on what we lived, that's for sure. And so after I'd finished the radio show, or right at the near the end of it, she got in touch with me and was like, I don't know where you are in your life, but would you like to go have coffee one day? And I was like, oh, I thought you'd never ask. And this was, what would that be? We're in 25 now, so this would have had to have been 21, 22. And that led, like I knew I had to convince her a bit because she's got a head on her shoulders where I don't. I'm all passion. Like, I know what I want it now. And like, I saw something in her.
So she's your voice of reason.
Yeah. I knew when I met her and started to hang out with her, this is the kind of person that will feed my soul. And I hope I can do the same for her.
It's such a beautiful story, and truly, if you all are really, and it's a stretch, but if you are really learning about Dave in this moment and on this show, you need to find him on Facebook and follow their love story, because he is proof that it can happen.
Yeah. It's been nothing but amazing with her, and we're just going through life head on, and things are...
So you got together, you dated for a little while,
Yep.
you got married, Nathan married you.
Yeah.
And that's just crazy.
And it was like month and 2 weeks later, he was gone.
Yeah, yeah.
But I had a beautiful wedding in our backyard. I'll never forget it. And
I saw the pictures, or I saw some pictures, and
11/11. That's our anniversary.
Yeah.
So, it was amazing, and I work my best to give all I can because I'm not the level-headed one in the relationship.
But she propels you too. I believe that you said she feeds your soul.
Yeah.
And you two, I mean, you're currently involved in taking classes and sharpening your tools in the toolbox. I
Yep.
mean, you're planning and moving forward with things. And she recently finished some education,
Yep.
and she's moving forward with things,
Yep.
and it seems like a beautiful space. Now, what's in the future for Dave?
So with that in mind, she'd been a doula for years, helping newborn moms and babies right after they got out of the hospital. She was postpartum doula and loved it. But what she had really been passionate about was being a lactation consultant. They're called an international board certified lactation consultant, strictly focused on the
Breastfeeding.
lactation with
Yeah.
the babies and the new mamas. And so she told me about that and how she needed a degree to be able to get that job and move forward in her life that way. And I was like, you haven't? Like, what do you need? She's like, it's all just like overwhelming and the website's not clear and I don't know how I'll pay for it. And so off to Google I went and I found how to enroll her in ACC. And then I found the grant that paid for everything. And I put her in and got it all done and she filled everything out. And it was like, okay, she's going to college. And I was like, wow, that was really easy. Let me just put in my stuff. I'll see what I know a little bit about video. So I wanted to pursue radio, television, film. So I did. I got a grant. I got into ACC and I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing here, but I do know a thing about the camera and let's go. And so I have just finished my second semester. I'm starting up in summer for some classes, and then I've got fall and maybe the spring to finish everything out for my degree.
What are you going to be when you grow up?
I want
I mean
to
the degree.
be, I've already put in some application at things like Austin PBS. I am, so essentially, this room and what we do in here is kind of what I knew. And
Right.
I don't know, I thought maybe something like that. My first thought was, let me get a job in production. Like I'll just go clock in, clock out, whatever. And then as I got through my first semester, some very cool people that are at ACC knew of what I did. And they're like, you should teach. And so I've been taking some things about possibly being a professor. Unfortunately, teachers aren't paid very well. So that may be a professor and. So I'm looking for roles, like Austin PBS tour was amazing. Seeing what they do, I could fit in there with the blink of an eye. But yeah, whatever it takes to kind of get my feet in the water about doing production, feeding minds. That's my goal. So I'm halfway, well, not even halfway through, but 2 semesters in, and I've learned so much more than I expected because I thought it was very technical, but like cameras, editing, that made sense.
Right.
But because I'm getting a degree, there's your core classes, English, history, math, that I have to do. To get the degree in the level of radio, television, film I'm doing, there's stage lighting, audio engineering, the editing world, documentary, like business. How do you run a team? And so I've been going through all these courses, just really blowing my mind on how much information I'm able. You look at school as an adult different than you do when you're a child. Like I'm there for a reason. I want to get 100. That was not me in school.
It's not something that you're just trying to get through.
No.
You're there to learn.
Yeah. Met some amazing creative people in there, and I'm proud of what I've been doing in there. I'm looking forward to the rest of it. I have no idea what it's going to end up looking like when I grow up. But we're going to find out in the next couple of years. Way back here, is a documentary happening.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
How exciting. And this is all because you went through a rough patch. Let's talk about your health. Out of the blue, had a health crisis.
Yeah.
And you have come back from that, and you are just embracing your journey that much more. Tell me about that. What happened?
We talked earlier about in my 20s, my go-to meal was 20 nuggets, large fries, and a shake. That got me where I was.
Life.
Plus my family,
Yeah.
I've got a history of heart attack and stroke through my family. So I didn't live like I knew that. I lived like I was just never, ever going to hurt. And so, It's so funny that, like, I had a course booked here at Access to learn the multicam gear. It got canceled, and I was like, oh. So I had to reschedule it, and then that rescheduling was on a Thursday, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go learn this kit. And during that time, like about a month before I started feeling some pains and stuff, but like 4 days before the class, it was like, oh, that's different. That's not just like heartburn or whatever. That's a pain.
That's something.
And then it just went away, and I'm like, okay, I must be fine. I'm just going to go about work. Mowed the lawn. I delivered packages. Like I did my life.
You proved to yourself that it was really nothing. It was just a little blip.
Yes. And every day it would hit and then go away. But it was really painful. And I was like, that's something. My dear wife, first day, she was like, let's go to the hospital right now. And I'm like, I've got this course on Thursday. I really want to finish this course. It's already been postponed. I need to learn to work the multicam setup. And every day, second day, third day, it was like, I'm going to go. She's like, go now. And I'm like, I'll let you know because I know my body. I think I'm fine. I just want to get this class taken. Friday, we'll go straight in. And Thursday morning, we went to it has the Don Juan taco.
I cannot tell you. Jeremiah would be able to tell you, though.
Yeah, it's over on the east side.
Right.
Anyhow, Don Juan taco. Oh, my God. Had that.
No.
It was beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh, wow.
So good. My last one. And went home.
Well, it's good that it was a ginormous... If it's going to be your last meal like
Could
that,
have literally been my last one.
Truly.
So went home, took a nap, because that's what you do after a big meal, right? My stepdaughter, wonderfully talented young lady, Penny Sue.
Yes, she is.
And she was due to come home about 4:30 or whatever. I woke up at like 3:45 or so. I was like, I'm not going to make the class. We need to go. But we got to pick up Penny Sue first. And she's like, she has a key, she can walk, get in the car. Literally saved my life. Renee is like beyond, I don't have enough words to tell you how, like I would not be here literally if it weren't for her.
I understand.
So yeah, we got in the car. We were luckily living about 5 minutes from St. David's at the time. And she was looking for a spot in the parking lot to park the car. And I'm like, you need to take me up front. I got to go now. And went in and tried to make it as short as possible, but they took all my vitals, took all my blood and all that, and they're like, looks great. And I'm like, something's going on, y'all. We only have one thing left to check, so you got to hang out till those results come in. Everything else looks great. And then they came back with my troponin score. Troponin, yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I guess it was supposed to be 40-ish, and I think 60.
It climbs over time. They take a baseline.
They had to,
then,
and I had to get a second one after finding out the number. So it was supposed to be like 60. You should see a doctor. I was 660, and they were like, "Yeah, you need to hang out. We need to get that second reading, and we'll figure out what to do from there." 720. I was like, I'm getting a room, y'all. And so that was
a room. Ask for a view.
Wow. It had a view. Yeah. This was on leap year, February 29. And then March 10th, I had been cracked open, had a quadruple bypass, and went on my way thinking all's well. They didn't give me any pain relief. And I was like, I guess that's what they do. My wife, like 3 days later, because I was hurting, she called them and was like, no pain relief? Am I missing something? And they're like, oops. And so they got me all of that. Oh,
my God.
And, you know, I'll condense this part.
Wow. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Yeah.
You went 3 days after open heart surgery. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, it was longer than 3 days. You were released from the hospital. And 3 days later is when you finally got some pain relief.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to accentuate that for a minute. Let everybody kind of, settle in their shoes and feel that. Your chest was cracked open. Open heart surgery, quadruple bypass.
Took the veins out of my arms and legs. Yeah. So, got the pain meds, had a cardiologist that I still was like, I'm not dying right now, but there's these pains, and it's like, oh, let's change this med. Well, let's change how much? Let's try this other med. And back and forth for literally 11, almost 12 months.
And you not knowing, because this is an unfamiliar thing. I mean, everything is new for you, and you're trusting in the education of the person you're...
100%.
Right.
So I've had other issues probably related to that, some sleep issues. I was seeing a sleep doctor, checked in with them. They were great.
All symptoms.
Absolutely. And so he told me, or he asked what's going on with my heart, and I told him my little story. And he's like, well, I'm not in a position to officially recommend, but I got a friend who's a really good person. Maybe you should look him up, and gave me a name. And I looked him up and got in touch with him, told him what was going on. He's like, well, I'd love to work with you, but I can't just rely on this other cardiologist's info. I need to put you through all the paces. Sure. So I had to get more heart caths. I had to do a stress test, which miserably failed.
Did you do the physical one, or did you do the injected?
Well, I went in and tried to do the physical one.
Right.
And when I couldn't get where they wanted me to get, they had to inject me.
And for those that don't know what a stress test is in relation to your heart, it is, they take you to the point of heart attack. They take you to the point of heart attack. And that's where they get all their readings.
Yep.
So you are literally, when you sign up to have a stress test, you are literally signing up to,
Feel like hell.
But
I tried. I really did.
But they also give you medications immediately when you reach that point to tamper down what's going on with your heart. But anyway, I didn't want to scare anybody who may be getting ready to have one.
Oh, if you have any questions, get with me or Carole. We can tell you lots of things about what to look for, but it's
what
not
to experience.
It's not fun. You can't have your burgers and your. So, all things in moderation. Don't make food your enemy. Let me just throw that out there. That's what my doctor told me. But anyhow, so yeah, and I couldn't physically get up to those numbers. So they had this injection that apparently did what they needed to do. They read the numbers, and my new cardiologist was like, yeah, you need to go in, get the heart caths on both sides. They're going to look and see if you need stents or what needs to happen here. Now, mind you, before all that, my other cardiologist, when I was having these pains, finally convinced him to look with an EKG and stuff. And he's like, oh, yeah, we should go in and do something. And so we did. He's like, you might need a stent. And I left with 5. And then when I got my new cardiologist and he did all the stress tests and all that, they were like, go in and get it taken care of. And I got 3 more. So I've got 8.
Wow, you've got me beat by 1. I only have 7.
That's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was told that one of my arteries was blocked forever, and I'll grow little veins around it and the blood will flow and everything will be fine, but I still wasn't feeling fine until I got that next procedure from my new cardiologist. And the doctor went in there and was like, oh yeah. The first cardiologist said, never ever going to touch that. I won't sign off on it. It's dangerous. We might have to crack you open again. You may not survive. And I'm like, fear God. Okay, cool. I'll wait on the little veins to grow and everything's fine. But that other cardiologist was like, yeah, I think we can work with that. And I went in and the doctor was like, oh yeah, do this every day. Let's go.
And that needs to be a lesson to people as well. When you're talking about something as serious as, and nobody knows you better than you.
Yep.
Nobody knows you better than you. And when I have these conversations, if I have something going on, and I have these conversations with my young, very handsome, I hope you're listening, Dr. Shake, cardiologist, that all I can do is tell him what I'm experiencing and put him in my shoes to understand the pain or understand what it is that I'm talking about. It's his knowledge and education that is going to save me.
Yeah.
And so if you are experiencing something like this and you better than anybody else, you definitely need to seek a second opinion. Even if you have a super good relationship with your doctor, you still need to, you need to seek out a solution, and that worked for you.
If
Otherwise,
it doesn't work
would have
for
killed
you, you have to fend for yourself.
You have to be you have to be an advocate for yourself.
100%.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And don't,
Yeah. But all that being said, there's a bright future ahead. I got a lot of great new things planned. We're going to talk about at Kick Butt. Do you feel like doing some rock and roll?
Let's talk about Kick Butt,
Yeah.
and let's talk about what you're doing now. You've moved out of this studio, and I know that we're chatting a lot, but we need to bring up to date, and then let's talk about what's coming.
Sure. So I am a jack of all trades, and I can run all of this, and because it's pre-recorded, I was having fun doing most of it myself. Unfortunately, to use this room, you have to have several people to show up and be crew certified so you don't break anything.
And be as passionate about your project as you are.
I just can't get people to come with. I could do what I need to do by myself because long story, but I can't. I'd love to use the room, but I don't have people that will come with me every week, so I don't.
Right.
I did utilize the multicam that I almost died over learning, and I booked a year at Kick Butt and booked 4 bands once a month.
Kick Butt is where you record your shows?
It was for a full year.
Okay.
Kick Butt on Airport Boulevard. And so I'd book 4 bands once a month. We'd tape their whole set. I'd turn each band into 1 show a week for my program here. I have been lucky enough to save a little money and buy my own cameras, and I can edit at home.
I died when you said that. I'm like, good for you. That's huge. I mean, that is huge.
Absolutely. And I love Kick Butt, and I will still do shoots there, but I'm really more focused on knocking at least 1 out a month somewhere. I've done a couple elsewhere so far.
Traveling show. You're going to take it on the road.
Yeah, because it's there anytime I need it.
Yeah.
And just boom, go. So I've done that, and I had, based on the time you mentioned that I went away, gave up on the Davefest. It just seemed too much.
And tell us about Davefest for those that don't know. And I know there's very few that don't know, but
yeah, it's all right. So a couple of great local people, one specifically who has now moved away to Colorado, but he was like, we're going to put this thing together for you we're going to call it Davefest, and we're going to do it at these 2 clubs, and you can either tell us okay or not. We're going to do it and give you the money. And I was like,
wow.
Okay, cool. So I jumped on, promoted it, and did artwork and made shirts and posters and did the whole thing. And I was like, that was amazing. And then I did 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and those were all at Kick Butt. The first 2 actually was Lostwell, and Kick Butt. So, did 5 of them in total, and that's when I moved. And I was like, all right, unplug. Came back, had all the things we discussed, the health issues, didn't think once about doing it. But after I got back on my feet, I could go on about my wife. Everything is related.
I know, and you do go on about your wife.
She set the fire, because I was very much setting the fire under her for music.
Sure.
We have so little time in our life to do these things, but she's got a voice of an angel. She made some incredible music.
Episode 3, folks. Episode 3, Creative's Cornerstone. Maybe we'll even be able to get her back.
Yeah, right. So she's, focused on her career at the hospital, raising Penny Sue. There's little time in our lives to do fun. For art, for other people's sake, So it doesn't really happen a lot. But we discuss with each other that passion and why we do what we do and how can we do what we do moving forward. And that set my fire for production. And that's kind of when I kicked off that whole Kick Butt series. And that's just rolled into now going, well, I think it's time. So Davefest 6 is coming up at the end of June.
Davefest 6. That's incredible.
And 3 nights, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 27, 28, 29. I've got
who do you have coming?
Yeah, I've got 7 bands Friday, 9 bands Saturday.
Oh my God.
I think it's 7 or 8 on Sunday. It's amazing. I think you have a little spot.
That is huge orchestration.
Yeah. And it really, until maybe 2 weeks ago, wasn't locked in. But
That's
now
amazing. I've
T-shirts
done
are being
a few
printed.
shows and coordinated with Concerts for a Cause with Sean Clace for a while, and then fundraisers and that for the radio station and that. So I know what it takes, and those were 1-day things.
Yeah.
You are doing 3 days with that many bands.
Yeah.
What an orchestration.
Yep. My son has a new band. He's in the Butts as well, and his new band is making like their second or third appearance there, called Counterspell. There's great Austin staples, Bond Breaker, Generation Exit. My wife is doing a set with one of the folks that she used to have a band with in the 90s. That band toured Europe, played Austin City Limits. They have not performed together in years.
Wow.
And so Trish Murphy is joining my wife, Renee Woodward.
Wow.
And there's this great guy in town, new to me, but been here a minute, called Ben Jones. And they're
Okay.
doing a songwriter circle thing that's going to be amazing. I've got just Black-Eyed Vermilion. I've got just 0%. My buddy Randy McMaster.
This old person sitting here across from you is like exhausted just hearing about it. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And where is this going to be?
We're going to do this at Kickbutt because it's got a vibe. We've done them all there, with the exception of the Lost Well on the first one.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy the people there. I don't know if it's public yet, but they...
let's have some breaking news.
Yeah, they've got about 5 years on their lease.
Oh.
And that building will probably not be their home. I don't know if it's going to move. None of that's been worked out.
It's a pretty iconic, place.
Yeah.
So, you want to get in there. And I think probably Davefest is the best way to do it.
Yeah. It's
3 days. And when is your... when the dates again for Davefest?
Yeah, June 27, June 28, June 29. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
And where can our folks find out about it, or,
My Instagram, Texas Music TV.
Texas Music TV. We didn't even touch on that yet. Oh my gosh.
TexasMusicTV.com has all of the pertinent stuff typically.
Okay.
I also have DaveTV.org, which is basically a springboard of links for all of my social media, how to reach me.
So we definitely want to make sure that folks take note of that so that they can follow you and find out all the things. And it's TexasMusicTV.com. And that's your new production space, kind of going away a little bit from Dave TV and into the Texas Music.
Yeah, Dave TV was like an offshoot of Capzeyez. It had a lot of the same crew, Nathan, and a lot of people that worked on Capzeyez, plus some new faces. John Moore, he's a professor at ACC and incredible video maker himself. He did the movie about Access producers, When We Were Live, that's going to be coming out soon. And so great people involved on Dave TV. And it did its thing. We did live streaming. We did a live show on Sundays in this space.
Yeah, thanks to you and leaving, I was able to take over this space and do it for my show.
Yeah, I was like, Carole, get this space. I'm not going to renew it. So yeah, and now I'm branding it all Texas Music TV, and it's essentially all of the things I do are Capzeyez video productions. Capzeyez was the baby that got me started, turned into Raw Time, Sale Hayton for the karaoke silly stuff, and Dave TV. And then now it's like my current productions are being branded as Texas Music TV. And I don't have the ability to be in this room, or I'd probably still be doing live TV.
Yeah.
The phone isn't working still, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And part of our thing was being in touch with the viewer. So we can do that on the internet, and that's what I've done.
Dave, thank you so much for coming back, and welcome home.
Thank you.
And doing this with us. We really appreciate you. I know you've got a relationship there with Jeremiah.
Yep.
He's so glad to see you again.
Yeah.
And of course, for those of you, Jeremiah is cameras here at Creative's Cornerstone.
Richard back there working
so many
hard.
other things.
Yeah.
And then Richard Watson, who his show just ran today.
With Ash?
Yes.
Yeah.
Them Damn Intrusive Thoughts.
That's
also
cool.
Richard Watson Music. So that's up on our YouTube channel. And,
Awesome.
And I encourage you, please, we are trying so hard to grow this channel, this space, to make a bigger stage for the artists that come and visit us here and do their thing for you, whether it's photography, writing, production, singer-songwriters, bands, all the things.
Yeah.
And so please, when you go to YouTube, like and subscribe.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And it's Creatives Cornerstone.
Creativescornerstone.com is the website. Okay. And then episode, here, let me see your mug.
42 for us.
Yeah, it's episode 42.
The answer to the universe.
We are recording episode 40. Oh, this doesn't have it on there. The magnet does. But episode 42 is today's show.
Yeah. Carole, thank you not only for having me on, but doing this, carrying that torch of inspiration for artists, individuals in the music scene and art community. This is what makes Austin unique. And folks at home, if you haven't taken the time, if you can turn on the TV, that's a big help, because the funding for this place depends on people showing, not only doing, but showing that they watch the TV.
Yes.
It's funded by the city. It's on cable TV. TV is a dinosaur. We all know it. But make it known that you're watching Austin Public.
AFS, Austin Public Access.
Yeah.
And this show runs on Channel 10. Our original broadcasts are Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. And then at noon, it goes up on our YouTube channel. And then we have encores that play on both channels 10 and 16. So go to AFS website, Austin Public Access. You can access their link. And
you can stream it online.
See
the full schedule.
Yes, and it's just such an incredible space.
There's an app.
I had no idea that this was out here and available, and what they do for people in this.
The history here is amazing.
It's crazy. Their dedication and their ethics. I mean, you learn all this equipment. You get this space to be able to do what you want to do, and this enables us to do what we want to do.
I remember when Robert Rodriguez was making El Mariachi here, and we all see what he's become.
You know, I mean, seriously. So please, tune in, show up. And not just for the show up for your life, show up for opportunities, keep yourself open. And follow your passion and your dream. That's what this show's about, is empowering you and showing you people who just show up for their lives, who say, I think I can. Look at what you can do and move forward with that.
And embrace the things you don't think you can do.
Hey, you know what? I'm totally, I'm down with that.
Embrace a stranger too, if you want.
Within limits, okay, y'all? So, Dave, again, thank you so much for being here. And y'all, next time, we'll see you next time. Bye.
We hope your new realtor plays drums in a band. We hope your new dentist is its front man. We hope live music always makes you proud. Just don't call the cops if you think it's too loud. South by South by South by Southwest. We hope you'll like it so much you'll move here just like the rest of us non-native Texans.